Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy and this is my channel called Nance Designs. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope that all of you are doing great and that you are all having a good start to this new year. So today I wanted to make some pozole because we are under the weather and we didn't really have too much pozole during the holidays, so we kind of still wanted some pozole. So I'm gonna be recreating this recipe from Cocinando con Claudia here on YouTube. So I'm gonna link her video down below if you guys want to see the original recipe and the way she does things. I'm gonna be recreating this video. Hopefully it comes out. This is gonna be my first time attempting to make this dish, so I hope it comes out good. I'm very hungry, so let's get started. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave me your comments and your recipes down below, or if you have a different way of making pozole, then let me know in the comments. Share your recipes, and yeah, let's get started with this recipe. Okay, hi ladies, these are some of the ingredients that I'm gonna be using to make my pozole. So if you want to see how I make it, then stay tuned and watch. Okay, so the first items that I found are these chile guajillo, and these are everything from here is from Walmart. I also bought this bag, and this is also chile guajillo entero. So I'm gonna mix them and see which ones I like. I'm not gonna use the whole bag, but just some. 2 romaine tomatoes, 2 garlic cloves, or I think I'm just gonna use half. 1 garlic clove and then half of this one. 2 yellow onions, lots of lime or lemon, whatever you prefer. Some salt, not the whole thing, of course, but this is just to kind of show you. Excuse me. And then here, some chicken bouillon flavor. We're gonna use this Mexican style hominy from Juanita's. This is the brand that my mom used to get and my aunts always make it. Some cabbage for your topping. Over here I have some new chile, New Mexico. So we're gonna use some of this. I think this might be a little bit spicier than that chile. But those are the only ones that I was able to find at my local Walmart. Some black pepper, some ground cumin, some bay leaves, some oregano, and then we have some cilantro if you want to put cilantro on your toppings. Some radishes, I don't have them here yet, but you could also put that. Some tostadas of your choice. This is the brand that we like, the Guerrero one. And for my meat, I went with this pork shoulder butt. This is the one I purchased. This one was $12.84. And I did also defrost some of these that I purchased the other day. I just cut them up and I'm defrosting them. And these are also pork. Or yeah, anything pork will work. And right over here, I'm gonna fill up my pot, and it's gonna be filled up with water halfway. So this is what I have going on. So let's get started. Okay, so here I'm preheating my oven or my stove top. And I'm just bringing over my pot full of water. Well, not full of it, halfway full of water. Next, I'm going to prepare my meat, which is my pork. I defrosted these pork linings or linons. I'm not sure how you pronounce them, but pork. And I'm gonna chop them into smaller pieces. Some people prefer not to do this, some people do. I prefer to chop everything up because I like to have everything already chopped while they're cooking, and it's easier to serve once the pozole is made. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm chopping everything up into bite-sized pieces, and I'm putting everything in a different container as you see me doing here. So I'm just chopping all my pork, and I think I just added salt, and I put the rest of my pork in the boiling water. But first you let the water boil, and then you allow the water with salt just to boil so that it could be ready for your meat. And so yeah, this is what I'm doing, just chopping all my meat. Okay, so I just wanted to remind everybody to, if you're going to be making this pozole, just to make sure you have maybe about 2 to 3 hours, because everything does take time for it to cook, and then to chop everything up and prepare the meat. It does take a while, so you have to be patient, and it does take patience and love. So make sure that if you're doing this dish, you have some time on you, and that you're not rushing, or that you're not hungry, because if you're hungry, it's going to turn out to be bad. You're going to want to eat some stuff in between. So just remember that not to start cooking when you're hungry. Okay, so I was done preparing all the meats and chopping everything up, and now I'm ready to boil all the pork, and I'm just going to place the meat inside the pot filled with water and allow that to start cooking and start simmering. Okay, so here I'm just chopping the rest of the pork because I did have a lot of pork. This meat does require a lot of meat, so if you are a meat lover, make sure you include lots of meat. Otherwise, you're just gonna have the hominy with the caldo, with the soup. So make sure you do include meat inside your dish. So you just see me here chopping everything up into nice bite-sized pieces. So that's what I'm doing here. And yeah, make sure your knife is also very sharp before you start this process, because if your knife is dull and it does not sharpen, you might want to take something to sharpen it with and file your knife. So this is what I had to do, sharpen and file my knife to cut through this big old chunk of meat or pork. But yes, and once you open the package, it's it's a lot of meat, so it does take some time, and it does take some preparation. I do like to wash my meat, and before I put it inside the pot, the boiling pot, I do like to wash it and rinse it with warm water, and this will allow some of that bacteria or like oil, grease, or whatever it is, or that griminess from the meat to be reduced. So that's what I had to do. Okay, so I also wanted to mention that pork has a lot of fat. So some people don't like the fat and they remove it, and that's fine. And other people do enjoy the fat, and it's very, it adds flavor. It's very flavorful, pretty much flavorful, and it adds flavor to the dish and to the pot, to your pozole. So if you want the fat, make sure you keep it for the flavor. If you don't like the fat, make sure you remove it and just keep all the lean meat pieces inside. And it's all your choice, and it's all to preference. So just remember that. And I keep mine because I do like the flavor that it gives, and I do enjoy more of that flavor. So speaking of flavor, we're gonna chop some onion. We're gonna chop this onion in half, just how you see me doing here. And we're also gonna take some garlics and we're gonna add that to the boiling water because we want more flavor. So onion gives flavor to your dishes, and garlic also gives lots of flavor to your dishes. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm chopping all of my onions and removing the peels. Some people do like to keep the peels and they like to make like vegetable broth, and that's fine. You can do that. For my case, I throw everything away. I don't really repurpose some of the scraps and the trash. So for the garlic, I'm just gonna remove the head, the top piece of the garlic, and then the bottom piece, as you see me doing here. So that's what I'm doing, cleaning it up a little bit. And a tip that I learned is you want to put the whole garlic, the entire garlic, because when you're trying to scoop it out and it boils, it will fall into pieces or fall apart. So that's kind of hard to scoop it out at the end because we just want the water to be flavorful. So don't do what I did, which is cutting the bottom of the garlic. Don't do that because it's going to be harder for you to remove it at the end. So just a tip there. But if you want to remove it and if you don't like the extra pieces of the garlic, like the peel of the pieces, then you can keep everything. If you don't like it, then you can remove it just how I did, like here. So I dropped them in individually without the garlic peel. But I found this a little bit harder to remove at the end, so do whatever works for you. Okay, so the next process or the next step would be to work on the sauce, the chile sauce. And I'm going to open up all the packaging and open up my the bags of the chile, and I'm gonna mix them. I'm gonna mix my chiles because I want to try them all out and I want different flavors or different levels of heat. So if you are a person who does not like heat and you do not enjoy the heat, then make sure that you don't put as much of these red chiles, because I mean, they're not spicy. These are not that spicy. It's just more for the flavor and for the color. But this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna clean them up. So we want to clean the chiles. You want to cut them or pull them apart from the middle, and then you're going to remove all of the seeds. And you want to remove the seeds because the seeds make the chile bitter, or the sauce of the chile bitter. So we don't want the seeds. So you have to take the time to clean your chile and remove the vines and all of the seeds. So this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm wearing gloves because sometimes the chiles are spicy. It depends on each one individually. And you don't want to have that spiciness in your fingers because sometimes it does burn. And you don't want that spiciness in your hands because sometimes you need to rub your eyes or your nose while you're cooking, and that is not a good thing because then you rub it in your eyes and then your eyes are burning, or your nose. So make sure that you wear gloves if you're sensitive to heat and you don't want to have an accident like that. So I learned that the hard way, so that's why I have to wear gloves. So that's my recommendation to you. If you are fine with heat and you don't care for that and you're used to it, then do whatever works for you. But in my case, I do wear gloves. Well, sometimes when I'm when I'm not in a hurry. But yes, I recommend wearing gloves, and the process is very tedious and very time consuming, but you just have to work one chile at a time. You cut it in half and then you open it from the sides and you remove all of the seeds. So that's what I'm doing now. And you just want to make sure you have I would say about like 6 to 10 chiles, depending on how much or how big your pot is and how much meat you're using. So that's something that you would want to take into consideration of how much pozole you're. Okay, next I'm showing you that I'm adding 3 to 4 bay leaves, and this is also to give flavor to the soup, to the liquids, and make sure that you mix in well with the onion and the garlic for flavor. So we're gonna let that boil for a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna, once you see the pork releasing this foamy like substance, then we're gonna remove it, and we're gonna clean up the soup because, or the pozole, because we don't want all of these impurities, and you want to be able to make sure you remove all of this. So once the meat starts to release all of this foam, make sure you just use something, either like a spoon or something like this, to remove it. Okay, the next thing to do is we're gonna, once our chiles are all cleaned, we're gonna take another pot, and we're gonna fill it with water, and we're gonna allow that to boil until we start to see the chiles become very soft and tender, and the water turns kind of like red from the chiles. And so we're gonna allow that to boil so we can make our sauce. So that's what you see me doing here. And I'm just gonna put the lid back on, and we're gonna let that boil. We're gonna check on our pozole here, and it's boiling. Make sure it's to medium to low heat. We're gonna allow this to cook very slowly. We don't want to rush it. Even though I was hungry and I was waiting patiently for the pozole, but here you see me removing the extra impurities that are coming out from the meat, like this foamy substance. We don't want any of this, so you want to make sure you remove it. Here I'm just using this spoon to remove all of that, and some of the liquid will go with it, but it's okay. We don't need all of this extra stuff. Okay, next we're gonna add our ingredients to flavor the pozole. So we're gonna take 1 teaspoon of oregano, and we're gonna measure it out. Here I'm just measuring it out and portioning it into these small plates. And we're gonna do the same with the cumin. We're gonna take 1 teaspoon of cumin and portion that out. We're gonna do the same with the oregano, with the pepper, and the salt. So that's what I'm doing right here. And we're gonna, here I'm gonna add some tomatoes. So I'm gonna chop them up and dice them, and also boil them with the chile. So I'm doing that for the sauce. Okay, so here I am showing you that even though I cleaned the pozole, there's still some more of that gunkiness that's coming out from the meat. So I'm just gonna take my spoon and my silicone spoon and just kind of go around the edges and clean all of this out, because we don't want any of this to be in our pozole, because you know it doesn't look pretty, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't taste very good as well. So we're gonna remove all of this and make it nice and pretty and clean, and remove everything from our pot, as you see me doing here. And our meat is boiling very nicely, and our flavor is smelling very nice as well, with our garlic and our onion in there. But this is what I meant. You just allowing it to cook slowly and in low heat. So I'm just removing everything else, making sure that it's nice and clean and we don't leave anything behind. Okay, next we're gonna season our pozole, and I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon to give it flavor. Then I'm gonna add some cilantro, to also give it some flavor. We're gonna add some salt to taste. So this depends on your saltiness taste buds. Then we're gonna add some cumin, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of pepper, grind pepper. So we're gonna add that to the pozole. We're gonna stir nicely and combine and allow this to mix and boil as well with everything here. And here you can start to see the caldo or the pozole releasing like the juices and the flavors, and this is how we know we're ready for the next step. Okay, so the next step would be to remove the garlic and the onion that we chopped earlier. We don't want those in there, so make sure you remove them. So this is what I'm doing now, and this is what I meant earlier. Make sure you just put them whole, like the garlic, have the whole garlic clove, the bunch, and make sure that, because it's hard to remove it one by one like this, how I'm doing it. But everybody can do whatever they want. If this is what you prefer to do, then do that. If not, then add just the whole entire garlic. But yeah, so this is what I'm doing, just removing everything, all the garlic and the onions from the pozole. Okay, the next step would be to, once we're gonna blend the chiles to make the sauce, but once the chiles are boiled and they're nice and soft along with the tomatoes, then we're gonna scoop those out, rinse the liquids out, but keep some of it. We want some liquid in this broth, or yes, it's the chile sauce or the broth. So we're gonna take some of the broth that we have from our pozole just to give it that flavor as well. We're gonna you can add salt to taste depending on how much salt you want, or pepper, or any seasonings to this sauce. So we're gonna take our blender and we're gonna blend it very finely and very thin. We don't want any chunks or anything like that, so we do want to make sure that it's nice and fine and well blended. Then in the same pot, you're gonna rinse everything and clean it out. We're gonna add some oil and we're gonna fry the sauce, the red sauce with the chiles, and this is going to give it like more flavor when we do this step. And here I'm showing you, I did forget to add some clavos, some cloves, so you can add some of those, maybe like 2 or 3, and then some black peppers. These are the pimienta, the black peppers, the whole black peppers. Maybe add like 4 or 3 depending on your pot. And we also have some of these chiles right over here, and that's gonna give it a little bit of more flavor. And that was something I had in my kitchen, my pantry. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So you're gonna blend everything nicely, and once it's blended like that and the oil is ready to be, or the oil is ready nice and hot, then we're gonna add the chile back in the pot and we're gonna stir that until it starts to boil. Just like this, we're gonna stir, and stir, and once we see it boiling, then that's how we know it's ready to be in our pozole. Just remember that this is not so spicy, but if you do want some spiciness, you can add the other kinds of chile that I showed earlier, and those will give it a little bit more spiciness. Then the next step would be to clean out and rinse out your hominy. So you open your can and you rinse it out nicely. And you can add all of the hominy inside your, once the meat is nice and tender, then that's how you know you're gonna add your hominy. So this is what I'm doing here. showing you that I rinsed it, and I'm adding the honey. And we're gonna also add our red sauce, and this is going to turn our caldo or our pozole into red pozole instead of, you know, just that regular color that it had. And so once you add it, this is how it starts to look. And you're gonna allow this to cook for about another hour or so that honey can cook and become soft, and everything can mix, all the flavors can mix with the garlic, the onion, the chiles, everything in there, the cloves, the black pepper, everything that you put will mix, and it will start to create this aroma and just smell really delicious. Okay, so here, after an hour later, I am ready to eat some food because I'm hungry, and I cut everything and diced everything. I did forget the relishes, but those are good, and they add just more crunch to your pozole if that's what you're into. Here I'm adding my cabbage, my cilantro, my lime. You can add some more salt if you like at this point. Some people do, some people don't, depending on how well seasoned you added the seasonings in at the beginning. So I'm just gonna enjoy this bowl of red pork pozole because I'm hungry, and I hope that all of you ladies enjoyed this video. And that is everything for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed me making some pozole. I hope that you got some tips, and I'll talk to all of you on my next video. Bye. And this is the final results. I really enjoyed my plate of red pozole. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you are here, welcome to my channel, and thank you so much for subscribing and liking my channel. I will talk to all of you ladies on my next video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave all your beautiful comments. And until the next video, bye ladies.